So good to see you all here this morning. I'm glad that you've joined us. We are here at the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living, and we're welcoming all of you who are online as well as those who are in the room. And I just heard such wonderful things about last weekend with Reverend Molly and all those folks, so I'm just so grateful to see you all again, and those of us who were at the retreat. It's also great to see you too. I feel like we're part of a big family now, that even more so than before. So I just want to remind you, if you have your phone on you or somewhere nearby, if you would please adjust it so that it doesn't make any noises during our service. I'd appreciate that very much. And for those of you who are looking for Reverend Gill is traveling in California, hopefully out of his house and moving on to the next yet to be here. And so he will be joining us via Zoom and StreamYard, and he'll be with us in a little bit. So just want to say thank you again for being part of our service today. And all of those who are online, if you are on Facebook or YouTube, you can click on the icon for closed captioning, and that will help if you're having some trouble hearing our service today. And so now it's my pleasure to introduce and invite Susan Clark to lead us in a wonderful opening song.
Thank you, Marilyn. If you could please stand. And we're going to do a little opening song by Eddie Watkins Jr. We've done it before. Maybe you hopefully have some muscle memory of it. I think I'm going to try to play standing up, but I don't know. We'll see how it happens here.
Loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just want to shout, hey! One life living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, because God is all there is. Let's do that again. One life living as you and me, one life loving as you. One love, loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm happy from the inside out. I'm so happy, I just want to shout, hey! One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is, 'cause God is all there is, 'cause God is all there is. Thank you.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you. So I am Marilyn Kirk, and I am one of the wonderful licensed spiritual practitioners here at the center. And on behalf of everybody here, I'd like to welcome you to this service. And just as a reminder, this is part of our understanding as we are here to transform our world with the power of love in action. And as part of that, we just are so grateful for all of those who have made it possible to be part of this service today. And I want to give a great big thanks and shout out to our tech team. Thank you all for your service and keeping us all together. Thank you very much. Our greeters, Doug, and others. Our food angels, I know there's a little bit of food back there, and you're all welcome to bring something every Sunday for our potluck. So if you didn't know that, you're invited to bring something to share. Our bookstore staff, we got Gilbert here and others as well, and thank you very much for your service to our center. And of course, our musical inspiration, Susan and crew. So thank you all.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, there are licensed spiritual practitioners with us who are serving us in service and also after the service. We have Marilyn O'Leary, who's on High Watch today and holding that us in consciousness and prayer. Nancy Bowers will be providing our opening and closing our prayer. And let's see, do we have others that I'm missing? I'm going to be giving you also the vision and mission and a short reading. And so with that, I'd like to invite Nancy to come forward and lead us in prayer. .
So I breathe into this moment, dropping deep into that heart space where I remember truth. I remember that God is all there is, and that the truth of that divine essence is pure and total love. That we are cradled by that love constantly. That joy is our birthright. That peace is ours the moment we claim it, the moment we choose again. And so in this time together, I recognize that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, for it could never do otherwise. For God is the divine driver, that divine essence that is in, through, and around each of us, that is the truth of us, that is the best of us. And so as we gather together this morning, I invite you to remember that truth constantly, to remember the truth of who and what you are, that you are the divine expressing, that you are here in this community that loves you and sees the truth of who you are and embraces one another when we forget, as we sometimes do. But we come back to center. We come back to that place where we remember and remind one another that God is all there is, and that is pure love. So knowing that this service time together is perfect, I let it go and I anchor the perfection by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Just as a reminder, as Reverend Gill tells us every Sunday, there are a few principles that helps us to be reminded of every Sunday. And so what he generally talks about is what we teach. So I have a few notes on exactly what we are all about here. So if this is your first time or second time, or even if you're a person that's been here a while, just as a short reminder. So basically what we teach can be distilled down into 4 concepts. We believe that there is only one power in the universe, but it is known by many names. So whether you call it God or Allah or love or life, it's all one power. We also believe that thought is creative, so we take care of what's in our mind, and we keep going back to spiritual truth that there's only one power. So it kind of goes back to each other. We don't blame ourselves or beat ourselves up when the thoughts that we have don't serve us. We simply replace them with thoughts that affirm our life. And then, number 3, we believe that everything in our life is either an expression of love or a call for love. No exceptions. No exceptions. Sometimes calls for love can look pretty clumsy, hurtful, and we maintain that they're calls for love nonetheless. And I just want to bring up that one of the things we discussed at our retreat is that sometimes there's conflict and things that happen, but it all goes back to a call for love or just an expression of love, and that's okay in our community. And we also believe that each one of us is whole, perfect, and complete, just as we are. And while there may be some thoughts or behaviors that you'd like to let go of, there's not anything you need to add to that is already there. And so with that, I just want to say that we're very grateful that each one of you has chosen to be with us today and part of our celebration, whether it's in person here or online. And this time is very special because you are here. So we want to especially welcome those who are with us for the second time. Now, it sounds a little weird, I know, but just that you came back is pretty good. You know, we're happy. Yes, good. So we're grateful for you. And for those who this morning who are joining us for the first time online, please be sure to let us know who you are and where you're from. If you could put that in the chat, we'd really appreciate that. And then go to our website and help us connect with you. You can fill out some form on there. And if this is your first time in person, then, or even if your second time, we would like to just connect with you and with each other. And so I'd like you all to just raise your hands for just a moment. What?
Sometimes that invitation is also for people who haven't been with us for a while.
Oh, yes.
There's some of those.
There are some of those, Diane. Welcome back. Anyway, so we're going to just greet each one of you, and we're going to say after me, we see you. We know who you are. You are a unique emanation of spirit. We love you. We appreciate you. And we thank God for you. Welcome to Rio Grande Center. Yes. Welcome back. And so, as we move forward in our service, I'd like us to join together and speak our vision and our mission together. So if you'll join with me with our vision, transforming our world with the power of love in action, and our mission, loving all creation through spiritual growth and service, always staying true to our highest self. So with the fact that we had this great community gathering last week, both here and also in Pecos, I found a little blurb on the internet written by a person by the name of Jan Wack, W-A-A-K. I'm not quite sure how to say that. Anyway, she's a health and wellness and fitness coach who helps professionals have the bodies they want without having to give up their lives. And so she wrote this about community and 6 reasons why we need each other. So I thought this was fitting for today because we're going to have a few people speak a little bit later about our community experience last weekend. So she says, even though it was 18 months ago, I still remember my climb up Kilimanjaro like it was yesterday. Taking those final steps toward the summit, and with tears in my eyes because I never believed that I, someone who grew up this sick little kid who held a deep-seated belief that she'd never be an athlete, would do something that thousands do each year, including world-class athletes, and cannot do that. Yet there I was. But I certainly didn't go there alone. I had a lot of help. While training, I called on my friends who are athletes and coaches to ask their training and recovery advice. And at this point, the phrase, "it takes a village," certainly applied to me and this trip. Then, when I got there, it was my turn to pay it back. I was climbing with some older gentlemen who were having difficulty navigating the rocks and the tree roots, so I patiently reached down and offered a hand. After all, we were there together. To accomplish this together, I wanted to both pay it forward and see them succeed. On the summit day, it was my turn to get help again. Hiking up a 45-degree scree-covered slope with half the air I normally had was making the final ascent a challenge. But I had a wonderfully patient guide who would listen to my breathing as I puffed along behind him, and he and the summit team would stop for me, let me catch my breath, and patiently moved forward only once I was ready. Then all of a sudden, there it was, the summit, both literal and metaphorical. I had put in months of physical training and a year of research and planning to make it happen, and finally it was a reality, but I never could have done it alone. Accomplishing something that seemed so far out of reach forced me to fundamentally change my beliefs about who I am. And to me, this is a huge part of the power of not going it alone. You become better than you ever believed possible. So here are the 6 powerful reasons to not go it alone. Firstly, collective wisdom. No one person has all the answers. Regardless of the amount of Googling you do, consulting with experts is always going to give you better information. Secondly, pushing our limits. When you work alone, it's often easy, or sometimes too easy, to give up when things get hard. By surrounding yourselves with others who are working toward a similar goal or objective, You'll get the motivation, the support, and friendly competition to push yourself just a little bit further than you would have done on your own. Number 3, support and belief. Some days, those big goals just seem impossible. On those days when you most want to give up, you need to learn to lean on the community the most. Your community believes in you, probably more than you believe in yourself. Number 4, new ideas. I truly believe that when you're working within a community of like-minded people, the wisdom of crowds is considerably greater than any one person working alone. Our divergent worldviews and lenses mean that we all approach the exact same problem slightly differently. Anybody who is in a relationship understands that. Number 5, borrowed motivation. Even on those days when your belief in yourself isn't waning, doing what needs to get done can seem overwhelming. Look around your community and be inspired. And lastly, accountability. If you're an uber responsible person, you may not want to admit to people you care about who are pulling for you that something didn't get done. There's nothing like having to be accountable to others to up your game. Allowing others to help is sometimes hard, but ultimately it raises everyone's game, and suddenly that summit isn't nearly so far off. And so now I'd like to reintroduce Susan and invite her to share with us some of this fabulous special music, and it looks like John's going to join her. What do you have prepared for us today?
Well, let's see. First of all, I grabbed John immediately and I said, "Hey, do you have drumsticks with you?" And he said, "Well, I stashed some up there." So, yay, John.
And Miguel didn't find them?
Miguel didn't find them yet. So I'm going to do a song. Robert Anderson wrote this, and Robert was part of a duo called Devotion with his wife, Lori Sandstrom, I think, some years ago. And I'm going to play guitar. Just talking to myself. How's everybody doing? Yeah? It's so quiet. Everybody's looking at us, John. I don't know. We better do something. As always, you can sing along with me whenever you feel like it. And here we go. Oh, this is called We Are One in the Spirit. Yeah. Away, 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 away. You got it? Away, 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 away. We are one in the Spirit. Every soul, everywhere we turn, life is going to change. When inside we change and take that journey to the heart. You are my brother, you are my sister. Not one of us can live apart. We are one in the Spirit. We are one in this world. Yourself in. Time to begin. Oh, for the healing of this earth. Many small steps here, millions of feet now, can carry everybody to the earth. We are one in the Spirit. We are one in this world. We are one in the Spirit. Every soul, everyone we need. Away, 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 away,
soul everywhere we turn. Away, away, away,
Thank you. Thank you, John Talon.
Thank you, Susan and John. Appreciate it. I wasn't quite expecting that song. I know a different song with the same title, but that's cool. Yeah, it's very fun. So this morning, I'm not going to be your speaker, but we have a few others that are speaking with us. And I need to find out from Hannah, are we inviting Reverend Gill to join us at this point? Okay, thank you. And I'll just I'll do your traffic directing up here.
Good morning, everybody. So great to be with you. It's wonderful so far, and just really appreciate Susan. I appreciate Marilyn for jumping in there and taking things away. As you might notice, I am sitting in front of a large brick edifice, actually just a fireplace, in a very empty house. And I am just having the opportunity to think about lots of different things. And if you've ever sat in an empty house, it's really weird. But it's just plain, right? I mean, it's just a bunch of walls. It's just like the center without any decorations, any chairs, any people. There's nothing there. It's just a box. And so today's topic is called the Mundane Community. And I don't know how many of you have taken the time to think about what does mundane mean, or what does it mean to you. But technically speaking, mundane is about things that has been considered things that relate to the world, and sort of in that dualistic sense that there's the worldly things and then there's spiritual things, which doesn't quite fit with how we view the world. However, I think we all understand that distinction. And the other thing that mundane makes us think of is the plane. It's really practical. It's not necessarily pretty. It just is. It's transitory. It can be really ordinary. And I thought about the mundane community. Oh, that sounds a little depressing, doesn't it? So what I want to share with all of us today, and I'm so excited to be able to do it, is having been able to participate in the wonderful community retreat that we had last weekend in Pecos, and knowing that although everyone wasn't there, we were all there, and what a grand opportunity that was. And in order to sort of further that idea, I want to share some of that with you all. I'd love to be able to talk to you about everything that I learned about myself and others, all the true connections that happened, all the things that I got to witness, all the craftiness I got to do and participate in. If you were there, you know what I mean. We had very crafty items on Saturday afternoon, which was very fun. But all of this was in context of this time together that we called the joyous power of community, cookies, and connection. And so there's so much that could be shared. I mean, I could bring every one of the 19 of us up here, parade them across the stage, and have them share with you, and then we could all maybe make it to our appointments on Monday morning. But since that is the case, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is invite 4 particular perspectives to come forward, just because they're just highlights, but I think they bring some important ideas. So what are we talking about when we talk about community? Are we talking about something that's rote, that's predictable and stale? Is it practical? Is it ordinary? is it transitory, really? When I'm talking about community, I'm thinking about something that's a little different. And the way I see it, community allows individuals to be where they are in their lives, in their process, while at the same time being a safe space to explore and express who they're discovering themselves to be. And I think that's a really powerful thing that community does, and a powerful thing that we witness. And so with that, I have the distinct honor of inviting Bob Duvall to come forward and share with you a little bit about his perspective and experience from our retreat. Bob, come on up.
Thank you, Gil. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm Bob Duvall. I am married to the amazing Chris Duvall. Now you ask me how that can be? That's a story for another day. So I went on this retreat, kicking and screaming all the way, okay? Backstory, little backstory. I have never, ever been on a retreat in my life, ever. My wife asked me, and she has before, and as a good husband, I said, nah, I'm not interested in that at all. No, why would I do that? That's not me, you know? That just seems too scary, right? But there was a couple of others in the congregation that really suggested that, and they're here, Darlene and Peter, very instrumental in me going on this retreat. So I did go on this retreat, kicking and screaming all the way, mind you. It was one of the most wonderful experiences I have ever shared with a group of people in my whole life. It was amazing. So much love, so much camaraderie, so much respect between everybody, and just a very caring nature. Just a tremendous amount of love in the room. You know, I started in there Friday evening, really quite nervous about what's going to take place, how's this going to go. By the time Friday evening was over, I was hooked. Man, was I hooked. I spent some time talking to Reverend Gil's wife, and we had a wonderful time and got to know each other a little bit better. After that moment, I decided that what I wanted to accomplish over the weekend was to spend a little bit of time, or a lot of time, with everyone I don't really know in this congregation. Now, I didn't quite accomplish that, but I did get around to almost everybody, and I will continue to work on that endeavor. You know, all I can say is that if you've never been to a retreat, or even if you have, something to look at again. I came back a totally different person. Two things I never do: go to a retreat, stand up in front of people and talk. Okay? So I've come back with a refreshed view on just all of that and so many other things. We just had a wonderful time. There was just so much love, so much great prayer work among people, and it's just amazing. I would wish that in the future, if you're invited to such a function, that you make the stretch and attend, because I really think that you'll come back enlightened and possibly a little different of a person. It sure worked for me, and I love this group. I really do. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Bob. Thank you so much. So that's a little bit about what happens in our community. And it's really amazing when you get to witness when people really care about one another. And that caring, shows up and as a reminder of what I've always believed community could be. It's a gift to see the different kinds of expressions of caring, different ways of people reaching out to one another, sometimes reaching out to one another by not reaching out to one another, sometimes by just being there and standing silently, sometimes by offering a hand with a suitcase. I mean, there's all different ways. And it's really interesting when you get to see a community and several people in the community offer love and encouragement and be extremely persistent in such. Now, I'm pretty sure that Belinda Hoshar could say something about being on the receiving end of a persistent community. So I'm going to let her speak for herself, and I'm going to invite Belinda to come forward and share with us now. Thank you so much, Belinda.
Thanks, Reverend Gill. Good morning, everybody. Hi. Hello.
I don't know what that is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What'd you say?
Good morning. I'm Belinda. If you don't already know, I'm married to the fabulous Yvette Trujillo. That's my claim to fame. Thanks. So Reverend Gill talks about a kind of a community effort in regard to my attending the function this past weekend. And I think a lot of people thought I was trying to avoid it, and that's not really the case. But we had a lot going on with my mom and some stuff and health things, and it was just seeming unmanageable. I've been unemployed for a while, things are crazy. And I got a call, or Yvette actually got a call. It's like, someone can't go and they want to offer this up for you to take advantage of. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so lovely. That's beautiful. But the dogs, right? So we had the dogs and the thing well, it turns out someone in the community happens to be a dog sitter and was available as a result of someone not being able to attend. So again, this is, I think, Saturday or Thursday. We meet the dog sitter, Teresa. Thank you for coming. She's not here today, but thank you. Took great care of our kids while we were gone. Enabled me to go on this beautiful event as well. You guys, some of you have seen us around. We go way back-ish, and then we go away-ish, and then we come back-ish. And we took a class recently, and we shared that one of the things that we found ourselves guilty of is kind of showing up, but not showing up. And some of the conversation that came out of our group meetings was around seeing these faces and having the same conversation over and over and over about, we want community. And we see you. We see you here all the time. I'm here kind of, sort of, sometimes. But we don't always feel like community. something that we desire. And what showed up in in this beautiful gathering was exactly what's missing for me. So I live with holy. I get plenty of holy, and I get Sunday holy. Love it. And what I want to know is you. I want to feel you. I want to be in your life. And we had a little tiny taste of what that can be. And it was beautiful. And we made music, and we saw people perform music for the first time. It was just a supportive and wonderful way of experiencing what is Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. The thing that you want is right here for you. Let's show up for each other. That's what happened this past weekend, and I'd like to keep it happening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Belinda. Yes, we kept calling her with new suggestions for who might watch the puppies while they were gone. So I know it got a little overwhelming, but there was a real sense of that. And we're so happy that you're able to come, and so happy that you've shared that idea about community, about what it means to really connect. Now, if community were really to be mundane, it might be ordinary and practical. But what if community transcended the mundane? What if it really was a reflection of true agape love? Would that mean that there would be no need to grow, to reflect, to take responsibility? No. No, transcending the ordinary is about the extraordinary. It's about going beyond what is easy and what is simple and exploring some deeper questions, taking us to what is real and what calls us to be fully human, fully spiritual. Martin Luther King Jr. called the beloved community a community that includes diversity and allows for tension, undergirded by love and leading to transformation. To do so, we must truly love our neighbors as we love ourselves. We must change, and we must commit to tangible action. So I'm really honored right now to invite, as we were introduced a few moments ago, the wonderful Chris Duvall to come forward and share a little bit from her perspective about the retreat. Thank you, Chris.
Well, according to human design, I have an open head, so that means that when I stand up in front of people, everything goes blank. Therefore, I have notes. Okay. We got into supportive groups. Everybody, we had to name our groups, and my group was the Kalachi Sisters, and we had to give we had to make up a little signal to each other, so we were supportive of each other the whole weekend. And so that was Pat and Marilyn and Johanna and I were in one group together. And one of our assignments, I don't remember exactly what the prompt for this was, but I think we were called to kind of make application to our wider community. And in this call for love, either it's love or a call for love. So the call for love that our group noticed was that we have a relative absence of youth in our center. And by youth, I mean those adolescents who are coming of age and making their transition from childhood into adulthood, which is, of course, made more difficult by the deep divisions and the transitional nature of our society that they're facing into with climate change and economic challenges and war and racial religious play. I mean, we could go on and on, right? So, we are aware that attracting youth and college kids, young families to our center would help us as a center thrive over time. But that to do that, we're going to have to bring some real consciousness and intention to that if we choose to do so. So we asked, who do we need to become in order to be relevant and welcoming to youth? To be a place where they can feel our love and have a true connection to spirit. Do we need to become willing to heal our own inner child, our own inner adolescent? Do we need to strengthen our own family relationships with our own kids or with the kids on the block? Do we need to become a place where youth have meaningful opportunities for self-expression, for conversation, for fun? Do we need to become advocates for youth and their causes? So we asked, how can we prepare ourselves to serve and connect with youth? And we offered 3 seed suggestions. The first was to maybe have an ongoing group, something called Elders for Youth. Belinda. Okay, we're going to leave it down there. Elders for Youth. So the vision right now for something like that might be where we come together and just share maybe, about healing our inner child, or what kind of things we see going on in our own families or youth that we know of that maybe need prayer and support in some way, and we could just start praying for them. Or maybe we could just start praying, for the consciousness of our community and, the next step to take along this path. But, it wouldn't be a fixing group or anything like that. It would just be a kind of a beginning step of changing the energy and starting, to become a place where we're receptive. Another seed idea was facility as venue for youth, maybe art, music, conversational kinds of things. And I want to go back to that Elders for Youth. I talked to Greg, and Greg said he would do this with me. Remember? Do you remember?
I have no memory of that.
You have no memory of that? Okay. So Greg and I, well, I'll talk to you later more, but we might be a starting point for that. Okay, and then this facility as venue, really cool things are already happening with that, with Ken and Kamatara Johnson. And I found out from talking to her over the weekend that this place is sometimes filled with 100 people because Ken has like 3 bands that he brings in, and they do their stuff here. So how could we expand that? Could we somehow maybe serve them cookies along with connection? And maybe there'd be some ways that we could support that event for them. And Kamatara was also saying maybe provide a little handout, because she said people come and they kind of get the feeling of what this place is because they sense it, because the vibration is here. So if they're asking, who are you? What is this place? Could we be prepared to tell them? So, and then the other thing is go where the youth are instead of expecting them to magically appear here. So those were our seed suggestions.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much for sharing those insights with all of us. And acknowledging that, it's not about how do we change others, how do we fix the problems, but what is it in us that can grow? And I think that's really incredible. And it speaks to my next point, and that is that community that is focused inward becomes mundane. It becomes stale and boring, and it loses its credibility because it's no longer of service. It becomes turned inward. And when that mundaneness is transcended, when we allow ourselves to go beyond that, we begin to see an opening for what is known as the beloved community, the type of community that is looking for opportunities to be community for all, a type of community that is committed to something bigger. Once again, Dr. Martin Luther King says our goal is to create a beloved community, and this will require a qualitative change in our souls, as well as a quantitative change in our lives. In our souls, in our lives. So, we have the great opportunity and blessing to have someone with us who happened to join our retreat at the last minute from Santa Rosa, California, who wasn't expecting to necessarily be here with us, but had the opportunity to be here and is a friend of Marilyn's, so therefore knew about what we were doing and came and shared wonderful stuff with us. And I am honored to introduce her to you now and allow her to speak a little bit about her perspective. So please welcome Christy Karate.
Okay, first I have to welcome my queen, Lorna Dunas. Yes. And all of you other cookie people. So I wasn't expecting to come, but I was expecting to visit Marilyn. And so she said, well, after this retreat. And I said, can I come? I invited myself. And this community was so amazingly open and welcoming to me. Now, I'm a global traveler, I'm a global teacher, I'm a global artist. I go in and out of places all the time, and I'll have to say I don't always do it gracefully, especially the exiting. You know, we have a tendency to like cut off things when we're going to exit. But you know, this community that I walked into as a stranger was so incredibly welcoming and loving to me. I felt the vortex of love that your community is, even those that were not here, that were so inclusive of letting me show up and be who I was in the way, that I showed up. And I gained and gathered, I've been in Science of Mind for 50 years, I think, a long time. I studied with Peggy Bassett, who you probably don't know, but a long time ago, someone out there does. And I ran away for a while. And I'll tell you, when I walked into this community, I realized that there is a unique quality that's here, which is the allowing of, I was the only one that wasn't there building community, or so I thought. And what I realized is that what this community brought to me was knowing that I can come and go into different communities in a loving way, being accepted if, like Chris mentioned, if I do my own inner work. And I looked back and realized that it was me that had stood in the way, not the communities that I was entering. And then there was this community here that held a mirror up to me about being community. And so I really felt this community as a global community, that you have something really special here that goes beyond the people sitting in the chairs. It goes beyond the people online. It goes beyond Albuquerque. I plan on coming back to this church every time I come back, which I usually come to Santa Fe or this area at least once a year. But to know and feel warm, you know, Hilda invited me to donate to the gala. That's maybe thinking I'm giving something. Asking me was giving me something and allowing me to feel like part of the community. So what I want you guys to know here and what you bring, and especially hearing about I actually used to be the Youth of Religious Science national prayer practitioner. And so to see that you have the love of inviting in the youth, the teens, it warms my heart. I used to run the youth camps in Northern California, and I actually ended up taking some of them globally to service projects down in Guatemala and other places. And those kids are now young adults with their own families, and I watch how they raise their children, and believe me, you touching their lives will make an amazing difference. And it is about, I was sharing with Gil a principle, a concept that I learned, which is that the wind does not blow. The wind comes to a low pressure front. Not the doing, not the banging at the door, not the pushing, like we sometimes feel the wind. It is going to its purpose. And so by you being a low pressure front here, you will draw to you everything that is equal to your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions. And so I just so look forward to being a distant part of this community and know that I can easily come and go and be loved and accepted. And so I really look forward to watching this community aspire to their beautiful goals, your beautiful goals. Thank you. And thank you so much to both my queen, Lorna Dunes, that was our cookie name, and to everybody that was there. And I love hanging out with Greg, man. What a cool dude you have here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christy. Thank you. And I hope we all heard that. You know, that's the strength of us. It's the strength of the RGCSL community. You are truly beloved and ready to include, to stay and grow through the glitches in love, and willing to truly reflect and open ourselves to who we both can be and who we desire to be. Just before we conclude, pardon me, I'm going to invite Belinda back forward again to share a little something that happened on the way home from the retreat. And I think you might just enjoy hearing it. And I think it speaks well to who we are. Belinda?
Thank you, Reverend Gil. So part of what we did is recommit to being a part of this community. What we talked about in our little groups is what, and for my peeps, what we got off track and sidelined by and talking about is identity and who are we? What is this community? Who are we and what are we showing up as? Somebody tell us who we are. Yvette and I left the retreat, and on our way home, it was still living with us, and we were having the conversation. And Yvette made the observation that what was really happening in the gathering was that we were bubbling up the community that we are. And we're like, what is that? And it's like community-led and community-fed is what we came up with, because that's what it felt like. It felt like Reverend Gil stepped away or stepped back, not away, but back, and allowed us to figure out who we are, what we want to be up to, what we can do, and how we can feed ourselves. So I just wanted to share that we're back. We're glad you're here. And let's figure it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Belinda. Thank you so much. So, community led, community fed. What a beautiful concept, a beautiful idea of what it means to be the beloved community as Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living, to be the community that is Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. So, I really want to just thank you all for allowing me to call this my home and my community. And I just truly believe and hope that each one of you can call it your home and call it your community and be a part of it in that way, both from the receiving and the giving side. So I'm totally grateful. And to that end, I'm going to ask you to turn to someone next to you and say, I am your community. Now turn to somebody else and say, you are my community. So let's all say together, welcome home. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Let's just take a moment and anchor all of this in prayer. I'm going to invite practitioners and ministers who are in the room to surround the room, and those of us who are online or other places just to hold the space. Just reminding each one that they are held continuously in spirit. That this community is not in a vacuum, this community is not by itself. It is the place where God shows up. It is the place where spirit expresses. It is the place where we get to be spirit to the fullest extent of who we are. So I'm knowing that this one life, this one love, this one experience that exists, that has created all things, that is in back of everything, that it is the life of me. It is the life of each one here. It is the life of the community. It is the life of the community in Albuquerque, in New Mexico, in the United States, in the world. And so I am knowing that we are completely and perfectly one with one another and with this life force that we call God. And from that oneness, I know there is nothing that we can do to create division, to create separation, to push ourselves away from God. I'm knowing that any sense of separation, any sense of division is released right here and right now. That it is only thoughts within us, it is only our desire to be right, to create our own thing, if you will. And so I just know that we don't have to do that. We don't have to hang on to it. We can let it go. We can let it be. We can let all of it exist, and we can love. We can stand in love, for that is who we are. That is who we are to be. That is who we are created as. That is what we are created from. And so in all things, let us come from that space of love. I'm knowing that each and every person that touches this community in some way is lifted, just as Christy has described. That each and every person who's been around for a long time and given of themselves in so many ways, and yet still can be encouraged and supported in expanding even further, just like Bob said, showing up, not his thing, but there he was, and how grateful he is. And I'm just knowing that each and every aspect of community is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to grow, for us to understand ourselves, for us to understand others, for us to be compassionate, for us to jump in and support, for us to receive support, for us to see those who appear to be outside the circle and to reach out, and for us to reach into those who appear to be inside the circle yet are feeling lonely and outside. So for all of this, and knowing that this is the truth of who we are, that we can be nothing less than the beloved community, for that is the essence of each individual and of this community. So as we stand here today, as we are hearing this word, speaking this word, we are knowing that it is all love. Whether it appears to be a loving action or a call for love action, it is still love. And we bless the world. We bless all of the areas of conflict. We bless all of the people involved. We bless all of the families who are hurting. We bless all those in our congregation who are working through loss and are releasing loved ones to the perfection of who they are in the next realm. We're just knowing that all of it is one in this loving life. So with that, I simply express my gratefulness, my gratitude, and now I release this word and I allow it to be, knowing that it's already done. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Gill. Thank you to our wonderful speakers this morning who gave so much from their heart and for their love and sharing that all with us. We're so happy to have you up here. And I just want to say for Bob in particular, we invited people to for our talent showcase to be part of, to do something maybe a little bit uncomfortable if they wanted to. And it turns out that we had some folks who sang or who read poetry or gave a story or an experience. And it turns out that they actually enjoyed it, and they didn't feel like, they felt like they were really encouraged by everybody there. So I just know that getting up here isn't always easy, but I so appreciate you all in your speaking this morning and sharing with us your experience. So thank you for that. And so now it's time that we offer our abundance, a part of our abundance in any way. And for those of you who are joining us online, there are multiple ways. And also, whatever's scrolling across the screen, you can also participate in here in the center. But there are multiple ways to give your offerings or donations. And those of you who are present here in the center, I want to invite you to approach the podium and place your offering in the basket. And I also want to invite those of you who maybe this isn't your particular time to give, maybe you give once a month or something like that, you can come up and just place your hands over the basket and add your blessings, because that also means a lot to us as well. So don't feel like that's the only thing you can give. You have a lot to give from your heart. Everyone's offerings are very essential to our ministries and to the events that we are doing here at the center, and we are very grateful for everything that you can share, whether it's a small or large amount, any way you want to look at it. And then after we say the giving affirmation, we will hear another song from Susan and John, and we look forward to that. So let's say the giving affirmation together. I am abundant, and I give from my abundance. I am prosperous, and I give from my prosperity. I am blessed, and I give from my blessings. My blessings of spirit are as abundant as the stars, and so I give and receive generously, and so it is. All right.
So, working with John this morning quite spontaneously, it reminded me when I first started writing songs, I don't know, I was 12 or so, and I used to go to my best friend's house, and I'd say, okay, I have a new song, and I want you to sing along. And she said, well, but I've never heard it. And I said, well, sing along anyway. And the miraculous thing was, she did. So John is blessing our experience this morning by just, I'm saying, hey, John, come up. And he's like, okay, all right. So we are spontaneously learning a song together right now. This is by Harold Payne, and it's called Standing on the Shoulders. Oh, I am standing on the shoulders of those who've gone before me. Yeah. And I am following the footsteps of those who've led the way. Yeah. Oh, I am standing on the shoulders of those who've gone before me. Yeah. And I am following the footsteps of those who've led the way. Yeah. Like Jesus and Gandhi and Martin Luther King and Mother Teresa, they all had a dream, a living and a learning from the love we left behind. The candle is still burning and we can help it shine, 'cause I am standing on the shoulders of those who've gone before me. Yes, I am. I am following the footsteps of those who've led the way. Every time I stumble, every time I fall, I think of all the problems and mine may seem so small. The dues have well been paid by the sacrifice they made. I hear their voices calling me to reach a higher place. I am standing on the shoulders of those who've gone before me. And so are you, so are you. I am standing on the shoulders of those who've reached a higher place. You have made us strong, and we will carry on. Yeah. I'm standing on the shoulders of those who've gone before me. Every single one is holding me up today. I am standing on the shoulders of those who've led the way. I can count so many people in my life that made me who I am today. Each and every one of you in some special way make me a better person than I was yesterday. 'Cause I am following the footsteps of those who've led the way. Woo! Thank you so much. Thank you, John.
And I'd like to add a special thank you to Susan. She spent so much time and effort with people in practicing for our talent showcase, and she was busy the whole time, and I just didn't realize how versatile and how easy it is that she just moves right into another key or another something. It was just fabulous. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate that. All right, so if you'll just put your hands up and let us bless these offerings. Thank you, Spirit, for all of these, your gifts that people have given. We're grateful for this provision of all of our ministry needs and more. We are thankful for the infinite abundance in the universe, for our good health, for our friends, our family, and especially for the opportunity to express our love and appreciation to each other. In this moment of gratitude, we allow ourselves to appreciate the abundance, the prosperity that comes to our center. Each gift and giver are blessed and valued. And we now declare that each person's peacefulness, joy, and abundance is increased 1,000-fold. And if you're with me on this, please help me by anchoring this. And so it is. Amen. So just as a short reminder that we do have prayer practitioners in the room, and if you are wanting to have a celebration prayer or you have a need that you'd like us to know the spiritual truth for you, you can join us over here in our prayer garden, and we're more than happy to pray with you. You can recognize our practitioners by those wearing stoles. Most of the time they're purple, but that doesn't matter. If they're sitting over there, they're more than likely a practitioner, and you can ask for prayer. And that, of course, can be something joyful. It doesn't have to be something that is troubling you. We just acknowledge that. In addition, we invite you to use the prayer requests that are in the back seat pockets. If you'd like to fill out a prayer request card, you can put that in the back. There's a little box that we have all of our prayer requests in, and our practitioners will pray for you over the following week as for whatever it is that you write down. And for those of you who are online or at any time during the week, if you would like to complete a prayer request that's online on our website, there is a place for you to do that, and that also goes to all of our practitioners who will then include that in our weekly prayer. And so I do have to ask something. Is this the first Sunday? And is there something that we need to do for that? Yes, Carmela's shaking her head, yes. So who are our November birthdays in the room? If you are having a November birthday, stand up. Oh, Shimon. Anyone else? Not you? Yvette's is tomorrow. Yvette's is tomorrow. Okay, wonderful. Well, where is Susan? She's disappeared. So we are going to go ahead and sing to you anyway, Shimon. And so, why don't you stand up? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, John. Happy birthday to you. Yay, thank you. When is it, Shimon? 24th. Is that Thanksgiving this year? No. Oh, who are you pointing to? John. Oh, John was standing. He was standing because I said stand up, but he pays attention to his wife. Good job, good job. Smart man. So there is cake, is that right? Yes, there's cake in the back, so join us. And we also want to invite all of you to join us for the potluck after the service and stick around and get to know each other if you haven't already, and just say, wave or whatever it is, you need to do. What was the last one? I forgot now.
Oh, the hand.
The hand? Oh, yeah. All the cookie groups had their own little gestures, so that was fun. Anyway, so it's been a really great joy to celebrate today, and again, remind you all to take advantage of the prayer being offered by our practitioners. And now we will have our announcements, our benediction, and then our closing song. Who's my announcer today? Is that Brian? Come on up, Brian. Welcome.
Mike, you want to go first?
No, I'll go after you. But
Okay.
Hill is going to help me out.
Awesome. Gracie, were you coming up to that point in a bit? Okay. We got so much going on here that's like there's this crowd of people in the back before the services start. Can you get this in the announcement? Can you get it's pretty amazing. But the thing that all of this stuff has in common is that it's all us growing as a community, us as individuals becoming more of who we are. I mean, I got here about a year and a half ago, and almost because, I love to cook. I grew up in Cajun country. Carol Ann, Nandi welcomed me into the kitchen, and it was like, come on in, help us out, and it's just been so much. Obviously, I'm kind of out there. I'll put me out there. Dr. Norm said, I'm going to go ahead and step back, and I took over announcements, and we got a team of people with Tamara and Lou, and it's just phenomenal. The point is, each of us has something we can contribute, and as we grow and evolve and give ourselves permission to give more, we become less of a consumer and more of a contributor to the whole of all of it. And I just think it's wonderful that we're all doing that. And this is a safe place. It feels like a safe place to be whoever it is you're here to be. So I just think it's really cool. Anyway, first let's talk about the gala. You guys come up and talk about that. Then we're going to have Cheryl talking about Thanksgiving, for which I am very grateful because I have no place to go but here on Thanksgiving. So if you or anyone you know has nowhere to go or no family to be with over Thanksgiving, let them know this is the place where they can come and do that. Anyway, you guys go ahead and take over.
I'm Mike McPherson, and these are my little helpers, and they're going to be passing out some information about what's upcoming. I just wanted to anchor this in something that came up to me, which is, I'm going to go home with this. This is the transcendent, transformative, beloved community. That's what this is to me. Does somebody have a stopwatch on their phone? Could you set it for 5 minutes? Because I promise I'll get through it in 5 minutes. Okay, we've been. I extended a little bit. Okay, so make sure that we've been handing these out and everybody has these. These are also available if you want to contact me or other people in the team, because if you want to send it out on social media and get the message out there to the community, we can get it stored on your phone, so you can do that. That's the announcement for the event. What's being passed out here is, what happened was I was supposed to print this out yesterday, but my color printer at home didn't work. So I have to go this afternoon and get started on the final versions of these. But I wanted you to actually have something to take home with you, put it on your desk or wherever you like to put your things that you want to reflect on. And all I ask you to do sometime in the next few weeks is just to take a few minutes each day and just look at it and let it sink into your consciousness. The first thing is we're going to have associated with this Holiday Gala fundraiser raffle ticket. So there's a mock-up copy of that. Then we're going to have the certificates. One of the things I just thought of coming over this morning that would be really great, just some creative ideas, is you could, if you wanted to sponsor in your household, you could have something very inexpensive and very easy to put together, which would be, say, I am giving an afternoon tea to 4 to 6 people with all the refreshments at my home on such and such a date. There's all different things you can use the certificate for. I want to point out there's 2 types of certificates. These have to be brokered through me, so you have to get these through me. The first one, or there's going to be some of them printed up, and they're for food. The second one type of certificate is for merchant artist or crafter. Okay, now I want everybody on your information there to write down my email and my phone number. My email is mrnursem@gmail. Okay, so the way this works is if you gather some of these up and you get out in the community, other people that you know or businesses, and they want to fill one out, all you have to do for the record keeping is get them to fill out and sign it, fill out all the blanks on it, then take a photo of it and send it to my email. And in the subject line, just put anything like RGCSL, pledge certificate. Okay, so that's how I'm going to keep track of them. You have to get the certificates from me, the blanks, but when you're done completing it, then just take a photo of it and email it to me. Please don't text it to me because that's too hard to keep track of, okay? And that phone number,
And say your email again.
it's Mr. Nurse M, MRNURSEM, @gmail.com. My phone number and text is 619-200-4245. Please don't text any of the certificates to me, okay? What's that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm handing out these today too, so you have several different reference places where you can get this. The third sheet is just basically, this is what I'd like you to take time to, over the next few weeks, just kind of review it and let whatever pops into your consciousness happen. I also wanted to let you know that a part of the holidays events that's in the process of being formed is something I did with the Presbyterian Church this last year, which is a ornaments event, and I'm talking with the Presbyterians about getting together and doing a group date for that. The idea being is that I have all the crafting material, you will make the ornaments, 1 or 2 for your own household, and then 1 or 2 to do as a raffle off event. Also want to let you know, we have hooked up, and it looks like a really, really good platform that the leadership is looking at. It's called Give Butter. It's going to help us in the future really streamline our whole process of silent auctions and everything that has to do with fundraising. And I think that's about, there's one more thing. When we do the ornaments, what I'm going to do that's going to make it really special, for each ornament, I'm going to put a tag on it that says crafted by, and the artist will sign it or write their name. So when you actually get it, you'll know it's a handmade item. Because what my thought is, when we make something like this, we're not just making an object, we're creating out of love. Our love is exuded into that thing, and it's special, and it has a special place in the heart for both the crafter and the person receiving it. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Well, yes, I do. Well, in case you don't know, we're having a gala on the 16th. This all has to do with the gala. So, and one of the things also is it takes a village. And just as Gil and everybody else who shared this morning, it's about being a village and making this place work. So one of the things, and I'll let Grace talk, because Grace and Nancy did a beautiful thing, regarding us being a non-for-profit and being able to get into the community and ask community places for donations. That's his 5 minutes. That's not my 5 minutes. So anyway, on here, this is the first time I'm seeing this. Mike sent it out, and I didn't completely look at it, but it has to do with offering services. Like I said, it's going to take a village. We're going to have soup, salad, and bread, and for people to bring that, and we want to raise money for this center. We want to keep ourselves alive. So I'll turn the mic over to Grace. And Sherry, I don't know how long she's going to be. So I don't know how long the timer has to be.
I just wanted to mention that any of these excess will be left over. They're put on the rack over there if you want to take them for later on.
And Miss Grace.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Okay, so at the retreat, lots of things got like bigger and clearer and more wonderful and more love and more sharing and more community and all of that. And so Nancy and I created this. Well, Gil says, well, do we have to really limit the silent auction to just like artwork? Can we? And then all of a sudden it just kind of went boom, boom. And so now our silent auction, and there's a bunch of these documents in the social hall, request for donations. So what we're going to do, and this is our first annual gala, we're going to go out into the community and ask for donations of every kind. Goods and services, gift certificates. What I do with the silent auction is that I just have some of these forms in my car, and when I'm out, like I go to Whole Foods, and then I just say, oh, we're asking for donations for our holiday fundraiser, and it's a whole process, and this is pretty self-explanatory. Paperwork, deadlines, December 3rd. For us to then be able to put the silent auction together. And I figured about 100 donations for a silent auction would not only really create a lot of revenue for the center, but it'd be so much fun. It's like a silent auction is so much fun when there's all these diverse gifts to bid on. So we're going to have a bit of a live auction, I think. We're going to do that, like for the big gift baskets, and then we're going to have the silent auction. And it's going to be really super fun. And if each of us just got 2 donations, that would be the 100. But of course, we can have as many as we can possibly dream up. So they'll be back there. Okay. Is that it? Oh, okay. Should I just go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Back again. Okay, so on my refrigerator, I have a little thing that I cut out of a magazine, and it just says upgrade. And so to me, what that always reminds me of is, taking my life and just, it's good, and then making it better. And so I'm now up here with this other hat on to talk about the kitchen and our kitchen. And I think it's going great with like everybody doing the cleanup and all of that. And so just another upgrade with that is that Liz, where's Liz? Liz has been making the coffee for an entire year. She comes in early because she loves to come in early anyway. And she makes the coffee. Well, if we had like a little team of like coffee people who would just be willing, it takes like 2 minutes to make the coffee, then Liz doesn't have to do it all the time. So if you're interested in being on that little team ministry, see Liz afterwards. And it doesn't have to be like, okay, then on this Sunday, you make the coffee. It's like whoever comes, just look and see, oh, the coffee needs to be made, and then, just know how to make the coffee and make the coffee. And then the other thing is that our Sunday potluck, to have it be like when you walk in there, it's like, it's like this beautiful buffet. And so, bring more food. Bring more food. So that's it. I love you all so much. And I also went to the retreat, and it was just one of the most incredible experiences of my entire life. So, love you.
Okay. Cheryl and then Liz. And then I'm back.
Okay. Who's going to be alone for Thanksgiving? Okay. I know what it's like to be alone for Thanksgiving last year. Last year for Thanksgiving, I sat in my apartment alone. It was really not special. The previous 7 years, I spent it with people who do not give one iota about me. This year, I'm participating in Thanksgiving here because you are my family. You are my chosen family. You are my tribe. And right now, there's only 13 people signed up. Come on, folks. If you don't have someone, get on the list. All right, I need my big family around me. Okay, so who's down? Okay, come on, guys. Help me out here.
Good morning. I have some bookstore announcements for you. We have our new Science of Mind magazine for November, and of course it's a dual one for $9.95. I found a reading in here. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. Yeah. So get started. Our Christmas Santa elves were busy in the bookstore yesterday, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. We have a discount table, 25% off. We have a Christmas tree back there that has ornaments that are 25% off the ornaments only. And if this is your birthday month, you get 10% off your purchase of anything that's not on sale. And thank you.
Thank you to everybody who's doing everything that you're doing here and making it all happen. If you're not reading the newsletter on a regular basis, there's a whole bunch more stuff that I didn't even begin to cover that's in our newsletter. If you're not getting the newsletter, talk to somebody about getting on the newsletter so you know all of this stuff. And Thank you. This is just an amazing place with so much more going on every single day. Drum Circle next Wednesday, 5 to 6:30. Please be there. It's getting funner. It's getting more fun every single month. It's funner. Can I say funner? Yeah, it's getting pretty good. But yeah, be there for that. I feel like I'm leaving something out. Oh, Healing Circle. Kim Peabody's back doing healing work. If you're not in the prayer garden seeing a practitioner, go see Kim. And thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you. All the announcements. So I'm going to do the announcements from here. We've got this thing called Join In 2024.
I can't hear you.
Come on up,
Right,
Brian. Come back.
All right. So much going on. I left off the thing on the first sheet that I was supposed to talk about. So Join In 2024 starts today. It's our partnership program as distinguished from our membership program, where you can contribute your time or your talent, whatever that might be, or your treasure, which is some money that we need to keep going as well. But sign up as a partner in the social hall after the service. There'll be someone who can get you on Breeze. If you don't know what Breeze is, see somebody about what that is so you can get more about what's going on. There's information about special events. There's going to be workshops with substantial discounts to folks who are in the partnership program. There'll be many workshops, partnership education. It's going to be great. There's just so much going on. But please check that out. See Marilyn, see Sherry, and we'll see you later.
And if you join in the partnership program, there's a 10% discount for the bookstore for a one-time purchase. Oh, so how grateful I am for this community. For this time when we remember the truth of who and what we are, where we see in one another the God shimmering, where we remember that it takes a village, that we cannot do it alone, and that we don't have to, that there is always someone willing to lift you up if you feel down, that there's always someone who will pray with you, who will remember you, will know the best of you. That's here, folks. It's right here, right now. For God is in, through, and around everyone, and I'm so grateful that we remember that we remind each other of that we come home to this community, to this place that is so invigorating, so bursting with energy, so alive and vibrant and good. So good. And most of all, I am so grateful that we are led by the power of love in action, and that there is nothing we can do that will keep us from being connected to that one great source that loves us so deeply that we can't screw it up. So knowing that it is good and very good, and grateful for this community, I just let it all go and bless it by saying, and so it is. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And if you would please stand. And I know we're running over today. I was hoping maybe we could do something we used to do a while back. If you're comfortable, please kind of get in a circle so you can all look at each other. If you're comfortable holding hands, hold hands. If you'd rather just be contactless, we understand. Just put your hands over your heart so people next to you will know to respect that space. And with all the grand talk about the retreat, we're going to close out our service today with the song that Yvette Trujillo actually wrote when she was at the retreat. Yvette wrote this. Yvette, I know she's in Las Cruces spreading her joy and message, but she said I could certainly go ahead and sing this today. So this is kind of a little theme song that Yvette came up with. It's pretty darn simple, which is the beauty of a group song. It's a waltz. I'm going to play it a little bit. Thank you, Yvette, for writing such a beautiful song for us. Wherever you are, wherever you are, wherever you go, you're still in our hearts. You still belong here. If we don't see you, still in our hearts, you still belong here. And when you return, we will be right here. You're still in our hearts, you still belong.